Hello and welcome to another edition of Magic of Boot. This is Ronnie Majumdar. I have Shudipta with me. Shudipta, there is a lot of eventful week of football in European nights, especially. A lot has happened. First of all, how are you doing and how did you enjoy the games?
Well, I could not. I was really tired during the week, but I could not. How can I say? Like once I start the games, I could not actually.
Rest properly.
um, yeah, actually, like I slept probably 3 4 hours, and today I had like a really long hike, like 25 kilometers, and still I'm
Good
here.
goodness gracious me. Speaking of football ruining literally someone's rest, but what a dedicated viewer. Where do you want to start? Probably Champions League or Europa League or anywhere
Well,
other.
before that, actually, the game of the how can I say season probably. Um,
Well, Man City and Liverpool in EPL. Do you want to
yeah,
cover that first?
yeah.
Sure,
This
let's.
is this is where we probably did not cover last weekend.
Yeah, we didn't preview. We had a kind of an
PBV, yeah.
yeah
So
yeah. Let's move on to that and interesting game in terms of not only football but in terms of the place in the table and the title race is going on, right? So how did you see the game?
I don't know. Like I was thinking all the week. What should I say in the podcast? Honestly, when I was going somewhere or
Hmm.
doing something else, and I don't know. Like I haven't seen like game in this quality like for a while. It has been for a while from both of the team actually. I actually cannot remember like a team who like who were willing to play football at the end um, at any cost, and like they're sticking up with their view, and it's not like one team is defending and one team is attacking, but both teams are like going all the way, and the game was so tactical, like it shifted like in seconds, and it was unbelievable to watch, especially the first half. Like when I was watching some like what is it called, like uh, s- some analysis after the first half, and
Hmm.
everyone was expecting like a high intense second half, but second half was more like a chess game, you know. um, Liverpool scored back like in 1 minute or 46 seconds actually, no, exactly, and then everything was changed. Like, but in City's points of view, like they could have actually finished the game in first half.
Right. Um,
Well, even in second half also.
okay, so just taking a bit of note out of that, I've seen that game too. Not like obviously I've started probably a little bit late, but that's still I've seen second half of the first half and then obviously the entire second half. But uh, what I take away is obviously is a tempo. Um, yeah, the game was played in really high tempo, and obviously there is a bit of time in the second half. Starting after the Liverpool equalized, it was like KG for a moment, and then I mean KG in terms of it's not high octane. It was like for 10, 15 minutes there was a bit of assessing where the other team is going, and then again it went back to the pace. Um, so tell me from Manchester City's point of view, how how are they gonna evaluate this result? Because from Man City's point of view, they had a game in midweek against Atletico Madrid, and they had a game last week against Atletico Madrid in midweek as well. So would they be rather satisfied with the result?
Well, they should, in a way, they did not lose the game, especially like first 15 to 20, 16 minutes of the first half. Sorry, second half. Um, Liverpool was pushing up a lot actually, and it seems a little bit shaky. And then I saw Bernardo Silva dropped, and um, well, he was sort of like a double pivot, like with pairing with Rodri, and that actually changed the game, and City actually took control of the ball in the middle. Um, I don't know, like well, the midfields of the Liverpool, it was really average actually. Like not even Thiago was doing some, I don't know, some creative stuff which he's supposed to do. But Robertson and Alexander Arnold was brilliant so far. They were actually creating more chances, and they were actually pushing forward a lot. And well, Kevin De Bruyne is he was unbelievable. He was everywhere basically.
Yeah, especially in the first half, and even in the second half, in this more kind of later side. But what I'm trying to assess, I mean, in terms of players' quality, in terms of quality of the attacks and the chances. I don't know if it is fair to say, Manchester City could have won the game easily, and they could have lost the game easily as well.
Yeah.
So don't see that happen. But I remember while the game was going on, and I was just sending you messages. Yes, Gabriel Jesus scored a goal. It was a brilliant finish, but I do feel that he was really selfish for Pep's team, especially he had a chance and his at least two teammates were in better position. He didn't actually see them because his head was more towards dribbling and down, and he either he didn't see or he just didn't care. Um, so those sort of things can define the games, like the win, and it doesn't take a lot in this sort of situation. Like you have a chance, either you take it or you don't take it. And there are moments where Fabinho I thought was fantastic, like his positioning and how he kept up with the oncoming kind of movement of the Manchester City players were very very dynamic and switching positions. Was it Mahrez with a very close free kick as well in the later
Yeah.
half? Yeah. So there were lot of chances for City, and we can say about same as Liverpool, but coming back to some of the goals and some of the highlights of the games, what are your highlights of the games that you think that game could have been won or lost?
Well, Anthony Taylor was really like thorough uh, when it comes to like complex decisions, especially like with free kicks. He let the game flow on. It was brilliant actually. But he made like two mistakes. One is like with there was a shot from probably Salah or someone. It actually hit John Stones.
Yeah.
And he did not give corner, and in the last shot like what Riyad Mahrez
Hmm.
took, it was actually deflected from Konate, and it actually went off. So other than that, I like refereeing is fine. um, but what you said, like it could have been like any side. I don't see actually like those are like like you cannot say like this is player's fault or something like this, because like I so far I uh, understand from Pep, like he gave license to everyone who can actually shoot.
No, I
in
totally
their
get
league
that,
actually.
but I totally get that. But if I remember on his other two teams he has managed in Barcelona and Bayern Munich, I mean, on those teams you cannot be selfish as first thing because before you shoot, you just take a glimpse, like what Kevin De Bruyne do always. He encourage, obviously he does get the encouragement to shoot, but he does always take a sneak peek. If anyone is in better position in more with space that can pass it on. So that's a basic thing, and I think it's players' instinct, individual instinct, that sometimes it takes over the decision making. But again,
Yeah, that's what probably told you in text. Like he still has this striker's instinct. So
exactly.
and he has to go for it because like
And he scored a
I
goal.
don't
I
know.
think he was in a
Yeah,
confident
confidence.
moment,
Yeah,
like the confidence was high.
yeah.
But yeah, these are very minute details. So yeah, and I thought just for change, just to compare when I was talking about Gabriel Jesus' decision making. When you see the second goal of Sadio Mane, the pass from Salah, he could have go on and on by himself and take the player. But he found took that heads up and just saw Mane in a space, and that was a brilliant pass as well. So that's what I was going to tell just split second decision making, and I don't really see. Well, I could be wrong. Salah normally doesn't do much in terms of passing, or I haven't seen much, but it was brilliant to see. The awareness of the teammates being in a better position.
I think he's still the highest uh, assist provider so far. But what you said, but he was in the middle of the pitch, and if Gabriel Jesus like sneaked a little bit up, he could have actually lose the ball. So it's better to shoot.
I don't
It's in the
agree.
box.
I don't agree, but yeah, that's okay. Um, let's move on to the. It was a brilliant game. One of the highlights, but this is not the only time that these two teams will be played. I guess they're playing in a cup.
Yeah, on Sunday.
Yeah, so that'll be very very interesting as well. Um,
Yeah,
but
and if they win in their own Champions League semifinals, they could have actually faced for the title in the final.
that is true. That is true. I didn't even think about it. Yes, that's true. So anything else you want to point out
Well,
about?
I have a question actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like this rivalry or Barca versus Real rivalry in like there was a semi-final in Champions League.
Well,
At the time, like there
nothing
was like
can
two Clásicos.
nothing can beat that Barcelona versus Real Madrid. Yes, these are more kind of polished. Both teams are really good, but that era, that identity from Jose Mourinho, and a bit of it was almost like you were watching Sherlock Holmes versus Moriarty. You don't see that here. It's almost like two geniuses going together, more kind of their own different way, but both are kind of attacking in a way, and they're not really talking in a manner that Jose Mourinho take it to the another level, right? So Mourinho is Mourinho.
Okay, let's move on to
Sure.
so
In the Champions League, possibly, or do you wanna
yeah.
take a? Okay,
Mm.
Champions League. Some huge results. Let's start with where you're there. I mean, in Bayern Munich was supposed to be overwhelmingly, at least favorite against Villareal, but Villarreal proved to be too good for Bayern to be knocked out.
We actually talked about a little bit like
Yeah, after the
about
first
that
leg.
actually
After the first leg.
after the first leg, and uh, we were kind of hoping at the time, but the way everything has started, I saw like there were like they did not get any sort of space, and even like the
Like
runs
like Bayern,
from,
Bayern Munich you're talking about?
yeah,
Yeah.
Bayern Munich, I meant. So like there were like few runs from Musiala and uh, Thomas Muller, who is like master of making space, who actually he was
And he got,
suffered from for
yeah, he got some space and got some chances too.
yeah, but the thing is that like I don't know, like there were some sort of in a rush to finish the game. It doesn't feel like they were even like, if you remember the Bayern Munich's Champions League triumph, they were probably behind of Chelsea or someone else, and they actually had managed those matches, or like, they have this patience to, sometimes like breaking the opponent, but this team doesn't have that actually. They were kind of attacking, okay, like, but it's not that. There were some individual runs, individual efforts, but it's not. Um, it's not like a team effort or anything. It doesn't feel like it.
I was really surprised, especially when Alfonso Davies didn't start. I can understand he's coming back from injury, but if you really need a goal, if you really need a really early start, I mean, in this sort of games, you need that early kind of momentum, right? So I was really surprised that he was not used until 81st or 82nd minute, and there was other. Oh, Nervi was not really
Mm.
started the game as well, which is fine in terms of because there's a lot of other quality players is there. But given that Muller and even Lewandowski missed some chances that you kind of think they would be.
And they actually tried to put pressure on like Lewandowski, and he got yellow carded.
He's very lucky that he didn't get red card.
Yeah, because
Uh,
there was a foul right after the yellow card incident.
exactly, and that should have been red card. And normally I've not seen Lewandowski going kind of erratic ever that much, but he was very erratic in terms of his pressing. Um,
Because he was actually playing in the wings actually to in the build up, and he is never used to be in the build up, that like uh, not like in the when they have positions,
yeah, that's
um,
that. I noticed that as well, and as well as there's some questionable goalkeeping from Jeronimo Rulli for that goal. He was way off from his line. I don't know what he was doing, but the ball he was not even. I don't know. The defender got the ball, and it was coming towards defender, and the attacker obviously is Lewandowski. I don't see the reason of his positioning out so much outside of the line. I mean, not saying that if he was online, but he could have saved that. But he has better chance to cover the ground or split second more. Um, but then you kind of thought, okay, Bayern got the goal and this is potentially going either extra time or Bayern winning it. That didn't happen.
but but if you remember, there were some attacks before the goal, before the Bayern goal, and even like after Bayern goals, because they were really vulnerable, especially like Sule was going up, and they actually caught them, like Villareal. I was talking about Villareal. They actually caught Bayern in the counter attacks, and uh, I thought, yeah, there were some like possibilities or half chances created, and they could have actually created more. I don't know, like, but it felt like they could have actually created more.
Like
But Lodge
Villareal, yeah.
also,
Every
yeah,
time they're going forward, they look very
yeah,
threatening. Yeah,
but Lodge also, well, he played like a number 8, or I don't know.
he was almost in a wing when they were defending,
Yeah.
and then when they were in possession, he was almost
Mm.
coming towards the almost parallel line to Dani Parejo, which was very I mean, brilliant. Parejo
Yeah.
was controlling and holding up and releasing the ball whenever Lo Celso is in a space.
Yeah.
And I thought that was brilliant from both players, and obviously, I guess they have trained it for that and figured it out. I was always skeptical if Villarreal could score because they miss so many chances normally, even in the La Liga I've seen. Thankfully,
They lost 3 matches from the last 5.
yes, and I guess Real Sociedad fans are happy as long as they're going in deeper in end of the Champions League because they're getting over that European spot in La Liga.
Yeah.
But coming back to the La Liga's performance, I think there was 10 or 11 changes in that game they've done like last week, obviously to rest the players. But I was really, really skeptical if they could score, and thankfully the goal that I can't remember was it there is a substitute for Dan Zuma. I can't remember his name, but he came in and then he's hit the ball on the ground, and from ground it just went up. I'm not saying it's right. You need a bit of luck. You have all the space, and if he would have just struck it clean, it would have been probably been covered by Neuer. But yeah, yeah, what a goal! What a historical night for Villarreal to knock Bayern Munich out in Munich. Um, any reaction from the German media?
Well, I saw Nagelsmann was saying he got like 450 death threats. So,
Shit,
and
not
there are
fun.
some. Yeah. Also, they mentioned Parejo. Uh,
Yeah,
it was saying he was saying probably like Nagelsmann disrespected them when they got that draw, because he quoted that like he wanted to Nagelsmann wanted to finish the match in the first leg. So that was kind of like I don't know, ignite them probably. I don't know, but yeah, there were some talk about Nagelsmann, like, about his tactics, and well, I lived in Bavaria, so like there, if there are, I haven't actually seen this sort of reaction.
okay.
Um,
I just saw today in the morning in I think someone in Bayern Munich ex-player Stefan something Einberg or something. He was telling Lewandowski and Muller should concentrate on Bayern and not in national team, and they should quit the national team because they're getting old, and either they should focus on Champions League or they should get out of Bayern. I thought that was a bit harsh, given the players. Everyone wants to represent their country in occasion like World Cup. But yeah, lots of even Luther
they're they're actually how can I say, like misusing two sport, because they could have actually take younger players who actually is going to play in the next World Cup probably. So normally German teams always choose, like used to choose before 2006, like even 2006 they used to choose like the on form
players.
players.
Yeah,
Like even Michael Ballack couldn't made it to the World Cup, and
yeah, exactly.
it was in Germany. So but I don't know what's going on. But
It's about politics, about name, I guess, right now.
yeah, I mentioned it like
So
probably
are
in
are you saying that
or
in a way winning that 2014 World Cup in long term wasn't good for German football?
no, not really. It was kind of like a execution of a long-term plan
Yeah.
from 2002. Uh, because if you remember, there were changes in the academy system when
Yeah.
Klinsmann took over, and he
Oliver
was relying
Bierhoff
on, yeah,
was in different places to collect information and
yeah,
review.
and he brought players like Podolski, Schweinsteiger and stuff. Like they got their debut probably around that time, and even like because of Schweinsteiger, Ballack couldn't play that World Cup. Um, but they were actually focusing in the long run.
Yeah.
So, but last 4 years, like after the World Cup, and they kinds of like
In a
stick up to
limbo.
their name.
Yeah, in a
Yeah,
limbo. Yeah.
sort of. They are even like with the
Eh,
with this Bayern team, it's not.
Yeah,
They
I
are
was.
just
Uh,
buying good players from other teams, and it's not like a team at all.
True, and also I was looking at players like Kimmich. He looked lost. Lost. I don't know if he's in off form or something, but he looked lost. There was players like Musiala. He was doing things like here and there, but it's not really like constant like you see on certain degree what you see from I mean, he's a very young guy. Obviously, I'm not putting a lot of pressure on the young guy and not a lot of expectation. But there's some basic things he was not doing constantly, like linking up. He was losing a lot of balls, and I have to. We probably haven't given enough credit to Unai Emery, but you have to appreciate the guy and his tactics, especially for the cup competition. I mean, in future, I guess he is one of the contender for Spanish national team.
That's true. There were talks in the Spanish media. I think it was 2 months before, um, who could actually take over after Enrique, and everyone was saying like bring Guardiola back to Spain or something like that. But I don't think Guardiola is ready for a national team now. And there were, I think there was another name. Uh, who was that actually? Um, Real Betis coach or I don't remember actually. There were actually another name, but Unai Emery is not like was not in the first two or three choices. But now I think everyone can actually
Yeah,
what can I say count him.
I don't see any better coach in cup competition, especially from anywhere else in the Europe. I mean, he's done wherever with Sevilla, and uh, probably he needs a little bit of team that goes with his plan as a kind of underdog. But
Yeah,
again,
but if you see the players that Spain currently have, I don't think he will fit. Oh, yeah, remember the name. Uh, Valverde was on the talk.
oh, okay, Valverde, interesting. Uh,
And with these players, like attacking players like Fati, Pedri, Gavi, who never stop running in the midfield, uh, I don't, I don't see Valverde. Unai Emery is more than actually because he could have actually, if you remember, like he had a great start with Arsenal, and he was kind of demanding more money from the board, and as usual, it was denied, and I don't know. They did not actually
and
build a team
I
around.
believe he managed egos fairly well, even in PSG. I think the Neymar's best season came under him. And
Yeah.
again, not going into detail.
Also, Granit Xhaka, he was really like messing up the team structure, but he is cool now and he's still playing. There were so many players actually um, at the time, but he probably brought Aubameyang to Arsenal.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, kudos to Unai Emery. There's a very good chance. I mean, obviously, Villareal did go to semi-final before. I think it's around Juan Pablo Sorin and Juan Román Riquelme time, and Pellegrini was the coach. after a long time they're there. So yeah, I guess Liverpool is a very very stiff opponent for them. But given that what they've done so far, I mean, everything is a bonus. So yeah, just enjoy, I
Do you
guess.
think they have chance, or
I
they
do,
are trying to create
I do,
something
I do. They have chance.
out of the game?
At least,
Especially if you look at the weekend, like not weekend, like weekdays games, Manchester City, even Liverpool looks tired, and they got carried away even in the Anfield. It was a 3-3 uh, stalemate.
yeah, no, I really think they have a chance. You cannot take a team lightly that take Juventus out and then Bayern Munich out, and not by fluke. There were
Yeah,
some real.
exactly.
I mean, he's one of the tactician definitely in the world football, Unai Emery, and he has players. Only thing he's probably missing is something efficient in goal scoring department, because if you're playing as a counter attack and quick transitional team, you need some really really cool finisher.
Yeah,
Uh,
if they have players like Nkunku or I don't know,
or even someone like
Adiani.
Jonathan Davids would do.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. Rooting for Canada. Eh?
no, no, even that suits the style, the pace, and
Yeah.
finishing.
Yeah, I agree. Uh,
So
yeah, but yeah, yeah, if they are playing, I don't know, semifinals, they are getting more viewers next season, so there will be a lot of money.
yeah,
Let's see.
I don't know how Paco Alcacer is doing. He used to be good, but let's see. Um, so moving on from the famous Villareal trump over Bayern, there was the other game, Manchester City versus Atletico Madrid. What's your thought on that?
Battle of Wanda Metropolitano.
Well, okay, so there's a lot of criticism to Diego Simeone's sort of idea. How they've played the entire two leg. Um, where you're situated on that debate?
Uh,
Like
it was
British media
interesting.
basically shown him as the monster, the villain, the
Yeah,
anti-football.
I think it. If you remember, there were some hand clapping gesture at the end of the game from Simeone, and like I don't know, like viewers were responding at it and with claps also, and it shows that like he how much he can actually influence like this stadium, the whole stadium. And I have never seen anything like this in my life, like how a coach can influence the entire stadium. It was
That
unbelievable.
goes even beyond. I mean, whenever Cholo, like Al Cholo, taken over his first training when Atletico were sitting in 13th or 14th in the table. The first training session he went, and the players were. There was two coaches already been sacked in the mid-season. He came in, he talked with the players, but there was some enthusiasm of the supporters because Cholo Simeone was a man who owned them last time, and he was very very popular with the people. So he went and
Yeah,
clapped around, and the people clapped around, and that's how he didn't have to say anything to the players because players seen the reaction of the fan and seen that if they do something wrong, the coach cannot be blamed because he is so popular with the fans. So they have to rather take it on themselves or perform. So that's how basically he motivated the players. That's what I see from Gavi, who used to be the Atletico's captain at that point of time, and he was talking to the documentary of Diego Simeone. So
yeah, I
he's
remember.
massively popular. He's massively
Yeah,
popular.
exactly.
It's like
But how
whatever
he
he
Mhm.
embodies, it's a reflection. You can see each and every supporter. Uh, you don't see that. You know, is there any other
Not
team?
even yeah,
Is
not
there any
even
other team?
I don't see. I actually never seen anything like that. Like a coach can actually point
Potentially,
fingers
if
and
potentially Jose Mourinho, if he take over Inter Milan, You might have
Mhm.
seen that. Otherwise, no.
Yeah, could have been, but Inter Milan is a little bit complicated place.
Yeah, yeah, no. Let's
There are
not go there.
politics, like internal politics. Yeah.
But let's focus back on the game.
Mhm.
So, um,
Well, technically, I have like only one sentence. Like Pep, he got under Pep Guardiola's skin in some way. I don't know how. And Pep actually beat him in his own game.
you
That's the summary.
you think so?
Yeah,
Because
because
uh,
la- last 45 minutes, City did not make uh, any sort of like they were trying in the counter attacks, but they were actually committed in the defense more.
I was I was seeing it as a test
But it's
cricket.
not like Atletico level in the first leg
No,
compared to
no,
the
no,
first leg.
no, no. Let's put it together. I always knew when the tie was there because some people are saying the first leg would be 4-0, 5-0 for City in Etihad,
Mm.
especially some of the pundits, because of the form both are in. And then I saw a very interesting stat because Atletico were not winning anything, and then they started to win like 5, 6 games on the trot. And there was a little bit of adjustment. Their defending lines and the midfield lines, both lines started like at least 6 to 7 centimeter deeper. So they have adjusted those lines, and I think Cholo Simeone was working on that, and I knew him and what he's done. And he knows he doesn't have the team to compete with Pep Guardiola toe to toe for 180 minutes. I knew that he's going to work on something out of like this game is played on 4 halves, 45 minutes of half. So he will take out, defend three, and he'll go for one. That's what he done. But I think what he could have done a little bit extra was in the later half of the first half. He could have started that, and that would
Yeah.
probably even bother City players more. And there was some intentional fouls, targeted fouls. I know you're obviously you have seen Grealish in the first leg. Second leg, there was lots of targeted fouls and a lot of provocation. I thought it was working. All they were doing was missing a goal. But again, it's a matter of if you take out that goal, it was brilliant to watch, even as stallmate. How you can nullify one of the best attacking team and best philosophical coach. Um, and people are saying anti football and stuff like that. I thought okay maybe, but if you take it as how Test cricket is being played, you don't go for attack every. If you're a little bit weaker, you go tactical about it. You don't attack every time. But when the sun shines, you go to attack, especially if you're batting. I think he was rooting for that window, and all he was missing is some of the missed chances. But the way they put the pressure, especially after 70th minute to the City, I think obviously City did what normally you see Atletico done, some kind of shithousery like play acting sort of things. But I think they were giving more and more to Atletico on the game, and Atletico were coming back more and more with flurry of chances. I thought Angel Correa had a brilliant cameo. Could have started the game. DePaul missed some of the shots, not on the target. I mean, anything could have happened, but yeah, obviously City won. I think this was technically City's toughest match. I would say, well, with all respect to Liverpool, I thought it was tough because they were taken out of their comfort zone
Well,
and they had to
they
behave something else.
yeah, exactly. That's the point actually because they already played Atletico like a week before, and then there is this match, and Pep couldn't actually make some changes because of tiredness or like I think he couldn't brought Jesus because he had like yellow card complication,
Okay.
um, and I think he could have actually arrange the game a little bit differently. But he did not have options. So like he had, and also like without Ruben Diaz, it would be like we knew it would be tough, um, especially with Atletico. That's what everyone almost was saying. Like, how could actually they defend when they start attacking? Because there are quality in attacks in Atletico too.
Oh yeah, there are
So
bunch of quality. To be honest,
yeah,
it's almost like he's not unleashing them,
yeah.
or he was too late to unleashing them. But kudos to Simeone. He has taken that game to a certain level that he thought that now on we have had very minimal damage, and now we can go and start bugging Man City. But kudos to Pep
If you
and City as well.
Yeah, if you remember the what was that Simeone's documentary in Amazon Prime.
Yeah,
Pep Guardiola was there. Like he was interviewed, and he was saying like he when he started coaching, and
Simeone went
Simeone
there.
just left. Yeah, Simeone just left River Plate probably, and he went there and he saw how they are trying to play, and he was saying like it's not my game, and he left.
Yeah,
So I don't
not.
know, like he has some sort of like a way, even like he beat the Bayern Munich team uh, in the semi-final.
We're talking about Diego, right? Diego Simeone, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He has huge influence. When he was a player, Carlos Bilardo was Diego Maradona and Carlos Bilardo came in Sevilla, and
Mm.
Carlos Bilardo is a master of those kind of anti kind of
Mind
tactics,
games, yeah.
mind games, and getting under the skin. How you provoke and Diego Simeone as a player was enjoying every bit of it. I think that's the most influence he has. The other person he has influence is Luis Aragonés, is a former
Yeah.
yeah, Atletico Madrid coach, and Luis Aragonés is more kind of pragmatic. He doesn't because Aragonés, except for Spain national team, he always had a very limited capacity of the team, and he always had very hardworking players. So he always value
Yeah,
hard
but
workers.
if you remember, like Aragonés was, I don't know, like in Spanish media, he was regarded as like a, how can I say, like a mathematician or something like that.
He
Like
is.
because he always calculated like what he has and what sort of output he can get from this sort of player, and he could actually read those situations and put changes and players, and then some players like Simeone was like into the mind games and stuff like that, but he was actually like getting output out of these players.
No, definitely he did. He did. But yeah, we're talking about the influence and
Yeah,
in terms of some of the attacking and the build up. Obviously, Simeone played under a lot under Marcelo Bielsa, and but I think he has a huge influence of Bilardo, a-
Bilardo.
and he enjoyed the most, I think, as a player, Bilardo.
I think I think like people say coaches like Pochettino or Tata Martino, they were actually influenced by Bielsa. I think he is the only Bilardian left in the world, probably.
There
Well,
could there well known maybe, but there are
yeah.
few. I know.
Well,
I
Boca coach could be the current Boca coach.
but yeah, no, it's one of the famous or in the top
Yeah.
end definitely. But coming back to Simeone and his tactics, I think he needs a better defender. Like once Diego Godin have left, like Diego Godin had some kind of presence on that defense when he was on the prime and Atletico was there, and there was the Brazilian center back. Forgot his name. Is Miranda?
Yeah, Miranda.
Those two had the presence that nobody can pass them, or they're not going to allow any kind of space, or they're going to battle. I don't see that defensive battle. Maybe Savage. Savage is not that great, to be honest. I think he
Um,
needs a better center back and then once his defense is more kind of solid, I guess he starts to probably gonna play a little bit better. But I again, it's Diego Simeone. You don't know what he's gonna do.
Well, I already read that in Marca probably they are looking for an alternative of Lodi, a new center back already,
I think they're also
and
linked with Naval Molina as a right back
yeah, Molina was playing brilliant,
for
I thought.
Udinese. Yeah, he's been
Yeah,
he's been great actually. Well,
this season he's playing probably his best games, and
I
he
think
can actually
he's the
make it
most
to the national team.
scoring right back at this point in any top five league. So
Okay.
he's doing well in terms of assist and going forward. I think that suits him. But again,
And I think in the midfield they already have the Coque's how can I say alternative Rodrigo De Paul. If he's playing well, we saw him losing form, and so does Atletico. So like he's sort of like a I don't know like right now he's a little bit like a new utility guy, but I think he can actually play that role very
I've
brilliantly. And
heard
also
Hector Herrera as replacement. They're even considering Real Betis Guido Rodriguez. So I don't know how true it
Argentine
is.
player,
Yeah,
but yeah. Yeah, also Lorente was good so far.
Lorente has been actually good. Like the guy
He's
always
good the whole season so far.
always puts some
Yeah,
shift. He's
yeah,
quick. He comes back. He covers his position. It's been good. That's the other part with Antoine Griezmann. Like he has certain opportunity to score. He definitely missed them. He's not definitely not in the form in attack, but he
yeah,
comes back. He has the work ethic and defense. But anyway, Manchester City delighted to go through Atletico Madrid.
yeah.
Nobody wants to face Atletico Madrid. Just to be honest, I mean, if your team is in some kind of knockout competition, you don't want to face them because you know it's going to be ugly. It's going to be melodrama, a lot of controversies, and a lot
Yeah.
of theatrics. And then obviously, if the football is physical, um,
Do you have any comments on the fight after the match in the tunnel?
I think I think that's very normal. I think after Jose Mourinho, I think there is some kind of personality of left in the world football of the managers who will take the battle and
Mm,
he would prove that everyone is against them, like the referee is against them, the team is against them. So if anyone relish on those ideas, that's actually Simeone, and that's the you can see a shadow of Carlos Bilardo.
yeah.
So yeah,
Can we move to the
the
other part
re-
of the Madrid?
yeah, Real Madrid versus Chelsea, it was a fantastic game. I didn't expect Chelsea to be
I think
that good.
it is the second best game I have watched.
It was a fantastic game. I cannot remember. I mean, obviously, Real Madrid. You
Like
don't.
when you like whenever I was thinking like, okay, now the scoring stops. There is another one coming. There is another one coming. Like from at first it was coming from Chelsea side, and then Modric's pass. I don't know. Like I think everyone probably covered that part.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, yeah. I'm
this
not
assist.
even going even there. And before that,
Yeah,
I thought just to take we should appreciate that Chelsea. I didn't expect personally to take that
yeah,
game into Bernabeu, and at one point they were actually 3-0 up. It
yeah,
wasn't it 3-0 up, or
yeah. It
they
was
were
3-0 up.
in
Yeah,
aggregate there 4-3, right?
yeah.
And then obviously Madrid came back and came back through a sloppy kind of work from N'Golo Kante. I'm afraid that he's
Yeah.
not really in the form, and I don't know. Mateo Kovacic was brilliant. Um,
But he was doing his job so far. Like nobody expect him to be Kante, or but he was
no,
actually fairly
no,
well.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
he was out of his limit already.
yeah.
Uh, so you cannot expect more from Kovacic.
No, no, that's what
Uh,
I'm saying. He has exceeded my expectation. I mean, I was when Chelsea got him from Madrid, I thought, okay, that's an interesting kind of option. I don't know how well he's going to do, but he has done really well, especially whenever he's been asked to
Yeah,
do.
but like what surprised me at the end of the game, it was Jorginho, how he's playing, because like he's playing like he has time all the time in the world, um,
Like
and he's actually
like a
he's passing
Pirlo
a lot.
without
Yeah,
Pirlo without a Gattuso. Like
yeah,
Pirlo had
exactly.
time because Gattuso always protected him, right? But
Yeah,
I don't see a Chelsea player actually protected Jorginho enough or give him kind of a shout. He needed someone to shout at him, you have to hurry.
yeah, and he operates like other side of the box well, and they were actually going through attack through him, and like even though they have players like Kovacic in the pitch on the pitch, they could have actually go through that area, and that side from that side, like most of the attack was coming from the left,
Yeah.
and Alonso was running a lot. Unfortunately, his goal was disallowed,
Yeah, that was
but
really, really interesting call. I don't know about that. I
but
thought
it's I think it's by law. Yeah, yeah, there is nothing to do with
no, no, that's true. But he couldn't have done anything at that point. That's what my reaction. Like it just comes up to him, right? But again, it's what it is. And then obviously Benzema had to score that winner. But yeah, as you're speaking of Modric has been great. So is Valverde.
Modric actually kinds of like activated after 70 minutes.
Yeah,
He was not even in the game the whole time, and after 70 minutes, for some reason, he was sort of like like a achievement unlock or something.
yeah, I agree on that. Also, in most part, Chelsea defended really well against Vinicius Junior.
Yeah,
They're really, really good, tight on him. I thought Mason Mount had a very good start. Like as the game went, he didn't have. Then obviously Pulisic came on. He had interesting chances, like various chances. Like you should have buried that game. Like Pulisic
he
alone,
could have actually finished it.
at least two goals minimum.
Yeah, at least two goals, and
Um,
also there were a save from I guess Havertz attack.
yeah,
It was a header probably. Yeah,
but
there were like 29 shots, and at least like some of them could have actually done better.
yeah, Christian Pulisic. I mean, sorry, no matter how talented it is in that kind of competition, that's where you stamp your caliber.
Yeah,
And in that kind of stage, you have to take it. A chance. I don't know what was going through his mind. He didn't look composed, and didn't. He looked shaky from confidence wise, and he was easily being overrun by even Valverde was running for
yeah.
110 minutes. Uh,
Havertz were playing like a false nine, and in the end, I think he like there should have been a number nine, and I think Tuchel has no faith on
Romelu Lukaku.
Lukaku. Yeah, so if there was a like a genuine striker, it could have been uh, like Real Madrid. They could have actually killed Real Madrid, yeah, in like 60 minutes.
That's true. I mean, it would have been extraordinary, but
And
again,
and the result is like if you don't kill Real Madrid,
they will
they
kill
will
you.
kill you.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
exactly. But yeah, fantastic game, and Madrid goes to semi-final to meet Manchester City. While
yeah,
in the other game, obviously, we didn't even talk about Benfica versus Liverpool. Uh, did,
Liverpool. Yeah.
did you enjoy that game too?
Well, so much things going on in the battle, and it looks like I saw that like they were scoring, and commentators like probably one they mentioned once or twice, and they did not even bother to mention it. But they had actually watched the highlights after the game. Like the next day, they could have actually leveled this game with
Yeah,
a 5-3 win.
yeah. I think especially one disallowed offside goal of
Yeah,
Darian Nunes, and then he was brilliant. I mean, looked really sharp. I've seen him scoring some goals this season, but I think this is one of his top performances in this season. And then he's potentially calling his suitors who wants to take him. That yeah,
Arsenal.
yeah, yeah, could be, could be, or someone else. But Manchester United is after him as well. So
Yeah,
there is some quality right there. Uh,
mhm.
uh,
Yeah, of course. I don't know, but well, Liverpool made a lot of change, uh, like from the previous game, but they still looked, I don't know, drained.
yeah,
So
yeah, exactly. And
if
Benfica, credit to
they're
them, they've taken that
yeah,
game.
and yeah, and they are playing, I guess in 2 weeks with Villarreal.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And funny thing is that if the FA Cup match uh, ends in a stalemate, probably there will be a rematch,
You don't want
and
that.
you don't want that actually. And also they're because of FA Cup match, both of the team, and they have like shifted. Their one of their Premier League match was shifted, so there will be some like how can I say, like a uh, really blocked schedule ahead of this both team. So they have to make choice, I guess. Like with this player, probably they will at least try to go for all. But I don't know. But if you are playing against Villarreal in the and especially if they're playing in Spain, um, with a little bit hot, humid weather, and if you are already drained by playing City, I don't think. And also, same goes for City. You are going to play 180 minutes with Real Madrid. They could have been like really worst in like 160 minutes, and they can actually still
Kill you
kick
in
you
that
out.
20, 30
Yeah,
minutes. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Different dimension,
And
definitely.
it could be all Spanish final, because if you are watching, following La Liga, Villarreal is like giving everyone rest in the
Yeah,
league match.
yeah. But I don't somehow. I mean, obviously, I could be wrong here. I don't see them going past Liverpool. I think there is something about this Liverpool team. I don't see them really losing out.
Yeah.
But funny thing has happened in football. I could be wrong. Um, anyway, so that was a fantastic game. Allison came out with some big saves, at least one I can remember, and Darren Nunes has fantastic game. I thought the game exposed Otamendi in one-on-one. He made some
Yeah.
horrible mistakes in one-on-one, and I don't think he's a very good defender in one-on-one against a very solid attack. So if there is anything, Diego Jota and the others have given him really really tough time.
Do you
Verton,
think he is playing for the national team in the World Cup?
I think that's what Leland Scaloni likes him as a starter, as a leader on that backline. So I don't know. I would start him because there are defenders. But again, it's about you
There are
trust.
quite a few defenders, like they are playing well,
Yeah,
especially in recent weeks.
exactly. And then I don't know. I think there are certain things called trusting a certain player and giving them
Mhm.
the responsibility. I think that's that kind of player. I don't see that is changing unless something really horrible happens.
Well, I think Scaloni has this. I don't know. Like he sorted like the pitch. Like he gave responsibility to the every lines. Like in the defense, he what you said like Otamendi. In midfield, it is probably DePaul.
or Paredes?
Uh, well, Paredes is you cannot rely on him like
Solely.
because he's a
Yeah.
yeah because of his injury problem. So I think DePaul has this you know like authority and in the attack obviously it's Messi. So
Okay. I think. Oh, well, let's see. It's
well yeah we were of the yeah sorry
yeah.
like
No worries.
what I was saying like they could have actually make this game more interesting,
Yeah.
Benfica.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they
I think
couldn't.
there's fantastic display from player name. His last name is Gomez something. He was a fantastic player. It's from Portugal. The work
Yeah,
ethic, the box to box running. He was relentless. He was almost
he's
out.
already in radar of Ajax and some other clubs already.
I think someone like him should go even bigger team. I mean, he was literally running out entire Liverpool midfield, and that's a compliment. I mean, Liverpool
And
midfield.
that's a good display, like against Klopp.
Exactly. It's brilliant to watch, and
It is actually what they're missing now in the
I think
midfield.
Klopp liked him. That's what I kind of see when like he
Mm,
was taken away. So there are some fairly good performances from this Benfica team, and yes, they have gone out, but they've probably gone out one of the best teams in the world, and
mm.
almost matched toe to toe. Um, So that's my takeaway from that game, and I think that's if you want to add anything.
No, not much to add actually. It's good for Liverpool, but well, everything depends on the next FA Cup match because there might be a possibility of a close schedule uh, with both of this team, and it would be hard for them to compete in all three competitions.
It is. Uh, so from that, can we talk a little bit about what happened on the Europa League?
Yeah, of course.
Where else to start? From Barcelona.
Do you believe like when I saw like 10 minutes of the game and I thought like okay before that goal even like the first one I thought like okay this is they are not going to pass even like they had
Like
a brilliant goal.
you had that ten because I didn't watch the game
um,
live. So you were watching that game, Barcelona versus Eintracht Frankfurt, and in 10 minutes you already said, okay, the Barcelona is not going out.
yeah, because there were some sort of how can I say rush in the midfield, like they had to make something in the first half or something like that. I don't know like what was the message from Xavi, and they weren't actually like tracking back. Um, Normally, Gavi always like try to track back. After the first goal, he did actually. Pedri was still up in the pitch. So does both of the wingers. Also, Aubameyang. There's already four players missing at that time, and um, actually, what they were actually Frankfurt was playing with probably three in the back line,
Well, they've
and
played almost whatever I've seen from the highlights. They were playing
yeah,
almost similar to what they've played in the
yeah,
first leg.
exactly, and
And
yeah,
that's what
uh,
makes me a little bit of nervous about Xavi. Like it was known, well known, they're going to come out like this. This
yeah,
Frankfurt team is very
there
kind of.
wasn't any sort of plan B, and technically he did not. Yeah, like even though he improved those players, he found a stability some way, but he still technically need to think about stuff, you know.
And while I was
Th-
watching,
that's
I
where
could be
actually they
wrong.
beat him.
I could be wrong. Please rectify me if you have seen the same thing. I was saying Barcelona tried to match the tempo of Frankfurt.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah, I saw that.
I
Yeah.
think that's what Barcelona shouldn't have done that, because
They were almost reacting to the
you're
what
giving
they're doing. Yeah,
you're giving them the edge what they're
yeah,
better at. You could have slowed the
yeah.
game down, being a little bit of compact, started to move your ball, and they and at a time, you could always change the pace. You have Dembele and Ferran Torres up front who are very quick, right? Um, I don't know, and obviously there is a lot
And
of.
they were trying to constantly, yeah, they slowed it down at around like 20 minutes to up until 35 minutes, the second goal probably at the time, before the second goal. They were trying to slow it down, and
But at that
the
point,
thing
it
is that like
was
they,
damage done, right?
yeah, what it was missing is that like the players weren't tracking back, and also obviously they won't actually press you up uh, up in the defense. They were actually just blocking those spaces, but not that much pressure. But whenever they are getting balls inside of the um, like near at the big circle, they are actually trying to press, and they were actually successful. Like in zonal marking, they did not give any space to Busquets. That's why actually Xavi brought Frankie De Jong and took out Mingueza, and that's another take
That's
on the
another
game.
exactly.
Yeah,
Oscar Mingueza. I think what Xavi, in hindsight, didn't do really well is taking off Dani Alves off this competition. And Dani
mm,
would have been the next, like if you block Busquets, Dani always come as a second sort of
yeah,
person to release that pressure. And I don't
yeah.
see that kind of other person in this Barcelona team who does that. And I think in a way, because he has that pace of Dembele and Ferran up front, and also the midfielders are young, he thought, okay, if I go toe to toe with these guys, I might beat at least matching that pace of them. And I
Yeah,
think,
that's the reason of Gavi playing the whole, like starting the both of the game, but that's why he was actually wrong. And also there were some passes from the back, from Eric Garcia to the corner, to the wingers, and those were like easily blocked. And this is the defender I was talking about. This probably name starts with H. I don't know. I don't
and
remember
also
actually.
is I can't remember, I can't pronounce the name. I could be wrong. Knaufe,
Yeah,
Knauf,
now. Okay, yeah,
fantastic player.
yeah.
He could have scored one of the goals of the season. I mean, he was toying with the players, and
The second goal, right?
yeah. No, the I think Ter Stegen saved it, but he passed through some of the Barcelona
Oh
players. Like,
yeah, he was actually a loanee from Borussia Dortmund, and he also played in the Champions League this season. And he was actually nothing but brilliant
yeah, it's a bit
with Dortmund.
technical skills and stuff like that. And you talk about Germany doesn't have player. They're players.
Yeah,
Uh,
they wouldn't call. That's why what I said. Like German teams, they have players, but they don't actually use.
Yeah, and also the good thing about him when he was passing the players, he didn't even give any, or Barcelona players made him even better probably. Not they're going for tackles right away. They didn't try to block the path or
Yeah,
try to redirect him. And I think
yeah.
when you're
I think
defending,
it was more like a panic tackle or something. It looked like.
yes, and Barcelona almost needed someone like on its potentially even Nico Gonzalez, if he would have started like a double pivot or something, because they didn't really play that. They played the game how Frankfurt would have liked them to play the game. Uh,
Yeah,
they're very open, and also it exposes the ability of Aubameyang, hold up and link up. He was awful.
yeah. Actually, this is what I was telling you before in our last podcast. Because these both center back, they were over him like the whole time. Even when he was moving into there was a shift in around like 20 to 30 minutes, because he moved to the right wing and Dembele moved to the left, and Ferran Torres was in the center at one point, and because he was not getting any sort of space, and the plan was there to expose them from the space between the defender, the center back and left back, but it was not possible because they did not like those German teams like Frankfurt or Union Berlin, or if you are playing with against Leipzig, mm, how they have played last night, well, 2 nights before, it was brilliant. They don't actually give spaces
No,
to the oppositions.
no, and also you don't have as much as time if you don't, if you're not really like, people don't understand how good Luis Suarez was. And how he actually linked up, I know, a lot of things in
Yeah.
Barcelona. He allowed Messi, or when he was playing with Neymar or others, to let them come. That's why.
He actually he actually created sort of like a space for those players, because those both are inverting wingers, and they need some space, and he actually pushed back the center backs so
Yeah,
that they can actually at least get shoot the ball or something like that. And Pedri was trying to like be the trigger man on the match, but the space he did not get those sort of space. And what you were saying, I was completely agreeing. Auba should have actually, like make those fake runs, because this is the identity of Barcelona, and
you have
Barca
to
lose
create
their.
that space, or you
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
find out something. You have to be out of the
yeah,
box, and
yeah.
that's what Luis Suarez was.
But yeah, yeah, that's why Jordi Alba was brilliant the whole match, but he could not get any sort of support from anyone so far. But that's
And I was almost thinking, if he would have started Ferran Torres as a striker, it would have been a way better proposition. He was okay in terms of linking up and holding up and stuff like that.
well. I was thinking about like in the middle of the game, like he should have actually started Luke De Jong,
No, he could have. He could have. That would have
because
been a
i-
different opportunity.
yeah, because he was a genuine striker, and if you remember the goal the week before, he was actually running in between the lines and pushing the center backs behind,
Further behind, yeah.
and that actually creates space for
Space for
Pedri,
the
Gavi,
Pedri
and
and Gavi.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
you almost need that. A lot of people doesn't get that. I think Xavi, at least for first 20-25 minutes, he just misread the game. He didn't see that
yeah,
coming. And I think
yeah,
they've been taken as a surprise. They thought they would take that game to Frankfurt, and Frankfurt took the game to them.
yeah.
Um, uh, it
And
seems like
uh,
they haven't watched a lot of Frankfurt game this season.
yeah, exactly. There was an interesting match between probably Frankfurt and Leverkusen or someone else.
Yes,
It was like one of the
I
best
think
tactical games.
I think end to end it was 4-3 or 5-3 or something like that.
Yeah, and it was one of the best tactical games of the season so far. Even probably the best game in the Bundesliga so far. But yeah, they haven't probably analyzed those opponents, and you cannot take on uh, teams like I mentioned, Frankfurt or Union Berlin or
Even Leipzig,
Leipzig, especially. You cannot outrun them, because those players like can run 12 kilometers
they're
constantly.
almost machine. You know.
Yeah,
So if you cannot match on pace and physicality, you take it in a different route, which is take the game slow down a bit and then all of a sudden just make it faster. And that didn't happen. Um,
Yeah.
again,
Actually, Busquets was taken out of the game in the very beginning, and um, that actually create all sort of problems. And they sort of were relying on Busquets, and he was already like whenever he got the ball, there were like two people covering him.
yeah, and
And
you
if you
almost
remember, like
needed a Frankie de Jong starting the game.
yeah, yeah.
But anyways, there's a lot of controversy and a lot of investigation going on how 30,000 or 32,000 Frankfurt fan were in camp now. But do you think this is a kind of this was one of the major reason?
I don't think so. It was more tactical. Yeah, they got cheered a lot,
Yeah, but
but
you've allowed
it's
them to cheer.
yeah, but it's I don't see that actually because like it. Well,
No, no.
you
When I
could
say you've allowed them to cheer, not by presenting tickets, but also
yeah, but you
by
still
getting
have like
within 20 minutes you're like 2 goals behind.
yeah, you already have like more than 55,000 people.
And you've misread the game already,
Yeah,
and the damage is done.
so yeah, and Barca fans were not like they were actually there were times like when anyone was missing ball there were whistles and it's sort of like a how can I say like a
Double
trademark from yeah
double damage,
trademark from the Spanish team
especially
like
Barcelona fans.
yeah
Uh,
especially Barcelona fans
yes, and also
so
just if I go back to another game of the weekend that Barcelona won against Levante,
mm,
they won 3-2, but Levante took almost a similar approach. Levante didn't have that quality of players that Frankfurt has, but Levante almost did show
they
Barcelona what
outrun Barca midfield
exactly.
completely
It's almost sing like Frankfurt. And
yeah
is this the way you can tackle Xavi's Barcelona?
yeah it seems so and there are matches coming on against some opponents there they could be interesting and they are going to take it like that and what I said before probably I don't remember which game was that like if the both of the center midfielder is playing up and did not like
Track back.
track back it's like a huge problem for this side and because
That
they have like
then you're relying on
really
your wing backs coming kind of inside and leaving your flanks a little bit vacated, and then your wingers has to come back uh,
yeah
because you're trying to pass diagonal balls to the wingers who has to constantly think I cannot lose this ball because if I lose it, there's a counter attack right within 2 seconds.
yeah and also I think there are yeah three in the back is also a problem for Barcelona so far.
Okay, that's an interesting game at least uh, because a lot of thing was going very flowery for Xavi and Barcelona, and
Yeah,
obviously
defensively they created Frankfurt or Levante. They created some sort of like a 5-4-1 or 4-5-1 situations, and they are not letting Torres running riot and Jordi Alba was linking up with him, but the problem was that like without those runs, they could not do anything, and the players were a little bit slower
yeah.
than the games before
And the
in the
quick
both of the games.
transition from Frankfurt because they have the pace and the quality
Yeah,
uh, might be the way to play against Barcelona. So yeah, it is very very interesting in a lot of different reasons.
yeah,
Anyway, moving out from that game, there's been talk of Leipzig. Leipzig versus Atalanta was an interesting tactical battle as well, but it's almost ended up like similar to what Barcelona is
Yeah.
versus Frankfurt. Obviously,
But
Atlanta.
I sort of expected that, like, although I am a huge admirer of Atlanta and this whole team, especially in the past 4 or 5 years, but um, well, uh, the thing is that like they did not show any sort of forms in past few
No,
games.
they've been very
Uh,
erratic, to be honest.
yeah,
There's been moments of here and there sparks, but not consistent over the years.
yeah.
And that kind of shows you how Gasperini actually dependent on Papu Gomez, because after Papu Gomez has left, that team almost like in quality wise it was not the same.
Well, there were some injury problems, and the thing is that like they could not actually build up as a team the whole season
No.
because there were always like players missing in the defense, like, and they miss altogether, and like players missing in the midfield, they miss like 2 3 players altogether, and suddenly you were exposed to the opponents, and you be like Atlanta has this tempo like set up like from the beginning of the match, and if you are not playing in this tempo, then they don't have any identity at all, and that's what makes this team actually special, and it was missing completely so far.
No, I agree, as well as the backline doesn't look like have that pace as well to play kind of in a higher line. But they've done fairly well against Leipzig. I thought first leg they've done fairly well with a limited kind of capacity. In a way, they tried to do certain things. Obviously, that they've tried to put some pressure on Atlanta back as well. Sorry, not Atlanta, the Leipzig back as well. But eventually they're beaten by a very well run, well schemed team. A better
Yeah,
tactical and better fit team. Um, there was some rash decisioning from Juan Musso. I think this is the first time I'm seeing him getting nervous and making some rash decision, uh, giving away one penalty, which
yeah.
Nkunku scored. But Nkunku was brilliant in terms of movements, and in terms of first goal was brilliant. Um, I mean,
Yeah, it was sort of like a matter of time. We could have scored multiple goals.
yeah, even the way they've moved. I mean, I have to admire German teams a little bit more in terms of how they're looking very fresh in terms of runs with the transition, especially how quickly they move with the ball and how easily they can find the spaces. It's almost unparalleled. I've not seen that for a long, long time from a particular team, because if you see Spanish teams, how they move is very different. We always think that English teams are better in transition, but I think I have to lean towards now with German teams. They're very, very good.
Yeah, it's almost looks like they're Scottish. They looks like a Scottish team, because Scottish team normally plays really high tempo and high transitional football, and now German teams are playing like this. And if you remember, like I mentioned, Leipzig in the as a favorite of this tournament. Um, because of this tempo, and even Nagelsmann left, they it did not actually change. And yeah, like they have problems in the league, but in the second half of the season,
They're doing very well.
yeah, they are looking more like themselves. So
And also, I've mentioned that although Leverkusen has been like kicked, like got out of the competition, but whatever I've seen from them, Leverkusen is a very, very
yeah,
interesting team as well. So yeah, definitely some interesting things are cooking in German football.
yeah.
Come.
Also, wait for the next season in the something coming from Berlin. I hope.
I hope you didn't join them, but uh, let's talk about the other game. Well, what was the other game? No,
Yeah, West Ham game.
yeah, that big win of West
West
Ham.
Ham and
Lyon.
Rangers game. Yeah, Lyon. West Ham versus
I was
Lyon.
really
And
pumped up for potential West Ham versus Barcelona semi-final, but then again, I was thinking too much. It would be very interesting if they're pitted against Frankfurt.
uh, well, it would be a much more interesting game than
Barcelona was,
Barcelona.
yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know, like probably right now David Moyes seems like the best coach there is in
At least someone
England,
is England,
like
English. Yeah.
English coach. Yeah, so far. How he built that Everton team, and even even if Ronald Koeman ruined it, now Frank Lampard is trying to save it. I don't know, but uh, he he's the guy who can actually build a team around some players, even like even if they leave this team, it doesn't matter. And I was talking with my actually cousin about why Anthony is not playing in the English team.
Hmm.
Why Tammy Abraham is not in the English team.
Okay. Can you explain why?
I don't know. Southgate.
Well, Anthony has been, as I said, I couldn't understand. He would have given them like there's a almost like many. This is very typical of English side and the English national side. You have a star that
Mm.
started way back, say David Beckham. He was more of a star than a footballer, and
Well, it was before that actually.
oh well, even before that. But then, if you go to
Yeah.
Gary Lineker, he was a player,
Mm.
but you can count
He
on him.
even Yeah, he did not even get chance to score the last goal because if you remember, like if he was taken off, and it could have been the English record, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. No, let's not go back that far. But I'm talking about David Beckham. There is then Michael Owen, and then there is Wayne Rooney, and now the Harry Kane. That's the aura of a star. But they want
Mm.
almost a star as a name, but you need players around it. There was a long time,
I think it's because of bookies. I don't know. They are more active in England.
true. I mean, I
Yeah.
I have to take it seriously now. It is true. And so someone like, without disrespecting Defoe, he played a bit longer. Someone like someone like
Ashley Cole,
not Ashikol, Joe Cole.
Joe Cole,
Ashikol was
sorry, yeah,
yeah.
Ashley Cole has
But Joe
left.
Cole
Yeah.
was a technically better player. I mean, but he didn't have a lot of other attributes, but technically very good.
Uh, Dwight Wright is also English, right?
Yeah, but I'm talking about, like, say for example in the striking position, and uh, but coming back to Tammy Abraham, he's brilliant in terms of holding the balls, linking up, and very good.
Almost. Yeah, I don't know. Like Mourinho probably found a new Drogba, and he's playing like Didier Drogba.
Yes, yeah,
Uh,
it's been brilliant so far
and
for
you
Roma.
cannot actually hold the balls, especially in the counter with the Italian teams, and there are tackles from everywhere.
And now look, he was in Chelsea. Does Chelsea looks better without him? Like, you can spend
Well,
obviously.
it was before Tuchel probably or after.
Yeah, before
I
Tuchel.
don't know.
Before.
Yeah, before Tuchel.
But
So
whatever the decision was to bring
mm.
Lukaku in, and obviously Tammy let Tammy go. But coming back to Antony and West Ham, Antony has been anything but he's a warrior. He's a freaking warrior, and not just warrior. He's technically good in hold ups in terms of making interesting runs.
And a funny thing is that he looks taller, but he's the same height as I am, and he is like winning balls over the
Yeah,
tall defenders, and it's unbelievable.
and also the other guy is Bowen or Owen.
I
Gerard
don't
Bowen,
actually remember. Yeah,
give- he has to play for English national team. Obviously, we're talking about West Ham. There's a lot of attention has to be in the Declan Rice and players like that. He's very good, not
mm,
taking away. But Jared Bowen has to be in the conversation. I don't see any other like what he does. I don't see on his position there are better players than him on who has English nationality. But again, I'm not the coach. There is Gareth Southgate has his team probably almost ready.
yeah,
Not advocating for certain players, but I'm taking. You see certain players and you kind of scratch your head why he's not playing in the national team. He's so good.
yeah. He can actually play both, like in the
Sides.
defensive midfield and yeah, on the sides. So, uh, funny thing is that like I have mentioned Conor Gallagher. Um, I don't see him playing in the final matches, like in the starting 11, uh, because of Southgate. But Conor Gallagher could have actually like put Harry Kane like in at least like 2-3 yards ahead in the position. He could actually reach like get the balls. Like he could like he doesn't have to go down. Um, and if you remember, Harry Kane probably scored like once or twice when Conor Gallagher was playing for England. Um, because he has the scoring positions and XGs and stuff like that. So
Anyway, I guess Gareth Southgate is definitely not listening to this podcast. Definitely not. Maybe we try by calling him
but I
Gary.
hope David Moyes will listen because what I'm gonna say, like I said before, like he's probably the best tactician right now in England. Uh,
Even if you
like
don't listen, David Moyes or David, you're still the best out there as an English coach,
yeah,
and potentially one of the very very top level coaches right now working in anywhere in the world. It's totally brilliant. I thought Olympique Lyon didn't have any kind of snitch on that game on their own stadium, and Lyon. I mean, obviously, and were not overwhelmingly favored, but they were coming through some of the good runs and good patches. So you have to appreciate that.
they they played some uh, fairly well game in the Europa League, and they had players, but nothing mattered with this tournament. Yeah, sorry, West
West
Ham
Ham,
team.
West Ham,
Yeah,
hammered down, as they say.
hammered. Yeah,
Uh, I didn't. Well, did I see any other games? No, not really. That reminds me of.
Rangers and
I didn't
yeah.
see that game. But if you have,
So am I actually. I missed it actually. Sorry.
so yeah, I cannot really speak about that. Unfortunately, there are a lot of games going on. Unfortunately, you have so much time to watch. But yeah, good for Rangers. They have advanced,
Yeah,
and yeah, hopefully seeing them in semifinal would be interesting.
they're
Ah,
playing. They're going to play against West Ham,
are they?
uh,
I have to
or
check.
or are they going to play with Leipzig? Because it would be like both of the games would be more interesting because high pacey midfielders and wingers and
No, West Ham is
so.
playing with Frankfurt, and Leipzig is playing
Oh
against the Rangers. So
wow!
there you go. Uh, I look forward to that.
Well, if you notice, like all four teams are really pacey in attack. So anything could happen. It's like it could be like 4-3 in scoreline.
I'm actually more hyped with Europa League than the Champions League because you always see this kind of team. They're talked about, but these are like
Mm.
up and coming teams. That's really
Yeah,
excites you. But yeah, uh, other than Europe, other than anything else, I don't have anything to add, at least to the composition of
yeah.
Europa League. Do you have anything else?
Any prediction for the Sunday games, FA Cup games.
Not really. May the best team wins, and if there is a tunnel fight, I'm all for it.
Okay, but I don't think
Someone should
Klopp
start
and
it. But yeah, speaking
yeah,
of some of the tunnel fight, and very recently we've seen, Cristiano Ronaldo lost temper
yeah,
against a Everton fan, which is pretty much a kid, and then
13 years old probably. Yeah.
and then he's taken off at least one teenager's phone and broken, snapped it. Teenager without a phone, think of it.
Well, teenagers shouldn't use phones probably. That's
No, no,
another
no,
thing.
no, no. What I'm saying, you cannot really say that at this day and age. A teenager and a phone. But taking anything away from a teenager wouldn't hurt them that much. But taking off this phone, sorry if I'm making a very bad joke, but yeah, taking out the phone in that style, and obviously he lost his temper. But again, he apologized and tweeted and asked the teenager to join uh, and see Manchester United games.
But the mother of the teenager, she's she actually refused that offer, and she was saying like if Cristiano Ronaldo was there and someone else is hurting him, and if they are inviting him for a lunch or something, is he going to be there at lunch?
Yeah, let's move on to the next sensational thing that is actually happened. I don't know if you know that Eduardo Salvio of Boca Juniors
Yeah.
has been. I think there is an incident that happened around him. They have played against. I can't remember who they played against, but they won the game. Came back, and his wife found him with someone else in his car. And the next time, what he done is basically run his wife over and basically left. And now police are after him. So that's incidents as we're speaking of some of the peculiar incidents outside of the pitch. I'm all for it. So Toto Salvio. Like Diego Maradona, the legend of
Mm.
Boca, is definitely under spotlight for very wrong reasons.
Also, do you expect Crystal Palace is also from London, right?
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's see.
They are playing against Chelsea uh, in the FA Cup.
Oh, before even going to that, we should have said that I almost thought of Freddy Rincon of Colombian legend has died this week.
Yeah.
Horrible crash against a bus. I think his driver or whoever was driving was in the car, and there was some fatal. I don't know if anyone else was alive, but Freddy Rincon definitely died on that crash. So our thoughts are with him. Very, very talented player. Specifically known for that famous goal versus Germany in 1990 World Cup. So, did you say about Crystal Palace? I'm just checking.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually it is.
Oh, so yeah, they are going to play at Wembley, and with this on-form Crystal Palace, and I don't know, slightly hammered or disappointed Chelsea. Do you expect a different result in the game, like in favor of Palace? Because we discussed about their games against City or Arsenal, and
No, they've done very well, and obviously they've lost last week
with
against Leicester.
yeah, but they won against probably United. I don't know, or are they?
Yeah, they've done very well against big boys. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, Chelsea. I mean, Yeah, there's a good chance of Palace beating them, and especially after
And
Chelsea has been emotionally drained for a lot of other reasons. But speaking of Chelsea, there's always a conversation of Roman Abramovich wants to take over Valencia. So, I don't know. That's going to be interesting. Um, Definitely don't want Chelsea 3.0, but especially Valencia had a very quality players. But as under Abramovich, what Chelsea has become, I'm not never been a
they can actually bring back uh, Gary Neville as their coach. I don't know. He can actually give another chance. I
or
don't know.
maybe Pablo Aimer comes on. Pablo Aimer,
Oh, Eimer played there, right? Oh.
yeah, he's a legend of
Yeah, he
Valencia.
is a legend there. Oh, I forgot that actually.
So there are a lot of legends, like even Ayala, Roberto Ayala is in the
Yeah.
Argentine setup. A lot of Argentine legends are there. But I don't think he's gonna go. By the way, very recently I've heard also that Xavi wants Mascherano to take over the Barcelona B. So it would be interesting if Mascherano takes over Barcelona B, or if he stays with. He just started to be the coach of
I
Argentina
don't I don't
under 20.
see him leaving Argentina so far.
Yeah, it would be interesting. Though.
But yeah, Mascherano would be an interesting choice because if you remember games like when Pep Guardiola brought him and he made him as a center back or something like this, even like in the match talk, and he was talking more with Mascherano because most of the time he was normally talking with Busquets or some other players. But if Mascherano was there, it was always Mascherano because he could have actually like read the whole game. And
Interpret the game. Yeah.
yeah, um, one of the biggest brain in football right now. So
Yeah, it would be interesting, whatever happens. But I have to say I don't have anything else to talk about. There's some.
yeah, so my
So in that sense, I guess we're there's a game this weekend. Hopefully we enjoy it, and we'll be back soon with other games and other interesting events happening. Anything to add?
no, just don't fight in the tunnels.
No, I actually love that. So I wish there was
Like
a
to our viewers, I was saying, like if you are supporting any team, just don't start fighting in the tunnel.
start it and see if it's fun. If it's
What?
not fun, don't do it again. Okay. On that note, no violence. It was just a joke. Yeah. Thank you again.